Okay, today we're going to go over what equipment you need in order to properly compost. It's always best to get all of your equipment needed first and then actually start your composting process. So we're going to review the tools that are best practices for it. First of all, first and foremost, you personally should always be wearing long pants, long sleeves, and gloves. That is a good way to protect yourself from any kinds of bacteria or diseases that might be transmitted through an open wound that you might have on your skin. So another important part about composting is the actual wheelbarrow itself. That's helpful, especially in moving the spent items or your brown material from the actual bed over to your composting area. The other part that's important is the tarps. A tarp is another great way in order to maybe do your pruning at the plant, actually at the bed site, and then drag that over to your composting pile, which is always helpful. We also have buckets. Buckets help us measure, but they're also great collection. Again, you could have that right next to you as you're working your bed and having those spent flower blooms, putting them in the bucket, and then bringing them over to your compost pile. Next, we're going to move over to the composting sifter. So we have made one that actually fits right over the actual wheelbarrow itself. That's kind of one of the final stages that we use, and the composting sifter is used just before we feel like it's completely finished. There might be some larger items, larger sticks or branches that haven't fully broken down, and so by us putting the finished compost on there and sifting it, the actual finished compost will fall through the actual screen, and anything that's larger is left behind in the screen, which then can be added back into your brown pile. So yeah, excellent. And then we also have a hose. Definitely water is one of the most underrated tools that you need for your actual compost pile. We do it like the fireman style hose. As far as the actual, it's easier on the hand, and also you could leave it there without actually having to hold it, which also helps with making sure that your arms and hands don't get tired out. Next is our manure forks and pitchforks. Both of these are used in order to take your brown material and either turn the pile or help aerate the pile or get your mixing correctly. So those are both another set of tools that are greatly used in composting. Our next set is our composting turners. There's two different styles. So this one, if we were in a bin, a plastic bin, it's sometimes difficult in order to get to the bottom or the center of the pile because of the actual bin structure. So we use this tool that has a claw on the bottom. There's this style, and then there's also two that have two little levers. Both of those are used in order to get to the center of the pile and help you mix your pile up so that you can get, just like that, and get in there, twist it, and then help with those levers will actually help get all of that material mixed up properly. We also have a rake, and we also have shovels too, and both of those are used for more or less. The rake is for cleaning up afterwards. Again, if your pile like this kind of overextends itself, those things are actually there to help with that. And the shovel is the same thing too, so those can both be in there in order to help get materials back into the pile. Another set of tools that are very important to the composting process is to get your materials broken down, as we say the 3 B's about bruising, bashing, and breaking things apart. And these hand tools are really critical for doing that step. So we do have here's some hand pruners, and so those are helpful as far as breaking down that material into smaller pieces. We also have a set of loppers. This is easier for the larger types of branching that you might have, like if you take out a branch from a tree, and as well as the hand saw as well. So all 3 of these tools will help get your pre-composted material broken down into smaller pieces, which actually helps the actual composting process.